I'm a taller
taller person.
Okay, not a lot of announcements today. Just a reminder that on Wednesday, the 21st, at 6:30 to whenever we get done, we're having Illuminations Christmas party. It's potluck, and also bring a fun or gag gift under $20, and we're going to do a gift swap. And then Sunday the 25th, Randy will be our speaker on Christmas Day, so please come and support him. And then I want to introduce our speaker today, Megan Monday. And you're going to have to introduce yourself, because
okay.
I don't know you. I met you for the first time today.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I was just like, really?
Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Megan McNamara Monday. I'm a psychologist, and I'm also really interested in energy work and kind of metaphysical things. And so I am going to be talking with you today about how to get through the holiday season intact. So sometimes the holiday season is kind of the best of times, worst of times. It's like with kids, you know, with every phase it gets easier, but it also gets harder. And so I have a private practice. I focus on holistic psychology, so kind of finding natural solutions to make people feel better. So this is kind of the holiday edition. Currently I'm working at the Middle Path Intensive Outpatient Treatment. It's a holistic intensive outpatient center. So I'm going to share with you some of the things that we do in session, kind of a group therapy session, a little taste of it to kind of get through the holidays. So generally we start all of our Middle Path sessions with some Pal Dal Gong exercises. So I'm just going to give you a couple of them. If you don't mind, you can just rise. You don't need a lot of room. We'll just kind of modify a bit. So this just helps us kind of get into our bodies. It's kind of a rainy Sunday, Cumberland morning. So this will help us kind of transition from being out in the traffic and into the sacred space. So this first exercise is called Upholding Heaven. We're just going to breathe in, interlock your fingers, exhaling out, twist, and then up on your toes, breathing in, and then out. Again, breathing in, interlock your fingers, out, up on your toes. Let's do one more time, breathing in, out, breathing in, up on your toes, and out. And then we'll just do one that y'all might know. It's kind of bending forward, leaning back. So we're just going to bend over, breathing in. Exhale on the stretch. Go to your comfort level. And breathing in. Then kind of arch your back to your comfort level. And then again, dive down. Up. Again. This last one is punching with angry eyes. It's good if you've had a little road rage or sort of shopping frustration, or you're an empath and you've been out in the crowds. Basically, you're going to put one foot forward, and then with the exhale, we're going to make like a loud and we're going to punch. Try not to make direct eye contact. Ready? Ready? All right, switch, other side. Ready? You can't imagine your favorite person in front of you, though. You need to work out some frustration. Okay, you can have a seat. So we start every group therapy session with that particular practice, and we move into square breathing. Has anyone heard of square breathing before? I know we teach a lot of different breathing practices here at Illuminations. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in for 4 or 5, hold for 4 or 5, and then exhale for 4 or 5. My people say this is one of the top 3 skills that we teach that is a lifesaver. You can do it anywhere. People don't know you're having to do it. It's very good if you're an empath. It can like breathe out some of that anxiety and anger that you may be picking up from other people. Okay, so we'll start. Breathing in. Hold. And exhale. Breathing in. hold, and exhale. Breathing in, hold, and breathing in, hold, and exhale. Come on in. Breathing in, hold, and exhale. One more time. Breathing in, hold, and exhale. So we follow square breathing with a reading generally, and I have a couple of different Christmas quotes. How many people are feeling in the Christmas spirit? Yeah? How many people need some help getting there? Okay, that seems to be the consensus, right? Okay, so I'm just going to read you a couple little quotations and then I'll get more into it. My grown-up Christmas list. No more lives torn apart, the wars would never start, and time would heal all hearts, and everyone would have a friend. A right would always win, and love would never end. This is my grown-up Christmas list. On Christmas morning, as you gather around the tree, don't forget to be thankful for all that you see. For children grow up and loved ones pass away, so cherish these moments, you'll miss them someday. When you choose joy, you feel good, and when you feel good, you do good. And when you do good, it reminds others of what joy feels like, and it just might inspire them to do the same. This spells blessings, and the acronym is be present, let the day flow with grace, expect joy, be positive, serve with compassion, speak only kindness, impart only love, never forget you're not alone, give thanks for everything, and see goodness in others. This is a December moon enchantment. I look to you, O goddess moon, chaotic energy, I am not immune. I ask you to heal and get me in tune, so I may embark a new journey soon. So this cold moon I pray, with the night dark and long, help me find a healing light amongst nature's song. All right. So one of the things I wanted to talk about today is kind of the philosophy behind dialectical behavior therapy, which is what we do at the Middle Path, and it is actually based on Zen Buddhism. I wanted to explain to you a dialectic because I feel like it's really at play at the holidays. Basically, dialectics are opposite things that we feel together. So we could be cranky and cold and tired. We could also be festive and excited about the holidays. Those two things don't have to be mutually exclusive. So a lot of times during the holidays, we get into kind of black and white thinking, really extreme, judging, sort of all of those things. And so what I want to encourage you to do is to kind of embrace the contrast. So it doesn't have to be either or, it can be both and. So we can be grumpy and tired and stressed and a little sick, but we could also be kind of connected to spirit and part of an important part of humanity and part of this community that's celebrating and lifting the vibration up. Welcome. One thing that I think will make this a really kind of intense Christmas, New Year, is that we're closing out a 10-year cycle. So kind of 2012 was an intense year. I feel like 2016 was right up there as far as really, again, kind of opening us up, you know, sort of releasing anything that no longer serves us, whether we want it to or not, and kind of pushing us into the sort of next 10-year cycle. So it can be a time where there may be a lot of grief. You know, I think as a therapist, the holidays are our busy season. Seasonal depression starts, people are spending time with their families, maybe people are alone on the holidays. So there's a lot of triggers to make people feel kind of disconnected and sometimes even feeling abandoned. I think in the midst of the political climate, a lot of people are feeling a little disenchanted, feeling sort of like maybe even on the far side kind of abandoned by God. And it's hard to make sense of what's happening here without really having a spiritual perspective and just really realizing that we don't have the full picture. Okay, we're closing out the 10-year cycle. So we're in the end, we're in the grief, we're in some of the negativity. And so the stuff that will be revealed is coming in this next 10-year cycle. And so just to give you an example, my 10-year cycle that's closing started with me moving to Knoxville, beginning my doctoral program, meeting my husband. About halfway through, I had a baby. And so I'm closing out that 10-year, very productive, wonderful cycle. And I think that's the thing to keep in mind when you're thinking about how to savor the memories, is that we have the dialectic experience, the good and the bad together in the memories. But then when it's over, we kind of forget the bad. We forget that we get sick every year at Thanksgiving or Christmas. You know, we forget the squabbles, we forget the cabin fever and all that kind of stuff, and we just remember the memories. I think one thing that's really important in this day and age is to have ritual in your life. So who has a Christmas ritual or tradition that they do every year that they could share? Go ahead.
We watch Muppets Christmas Carol on Christmas Eve.
Muppets Christmas Carol. Okay.
Always Muppets.
That's awesome. So for me, that brings up the memory of when my daughter was little. One Christmas she was teething, and we watched Lady Gaga Muppets. And yes. That was like the thing that got us through. We camped down on the living room floor, and we just were held up watching Lady Gaga and the Muppets. So, yes. Any others? Yes.
I like Miracle on 34th Street.
Miracle on 34th Street, absolutely. I particularly like It's a Wonderful Life. I think that's what I kind of wanted to actually name the theme of this particular talk today, is really realizing it's a wonderful life. And sometimes we don't sort of realize the impact that we have on this world. And so I love when Jimmy Stewart kind of sees how the world would be different without him. And so if you're feeling kind of blue, I think that might be something to consider. I know probably most of the people in this room are healers and light workers, and think about all the people that you touch and the work that you do, whether professionally or just within the community. Other Christmas traditions? Yes, Audrey?
Mine is a little ornament that I had as a child. It was my favorite every year. It's a little patchwork dog. And when I was little, I had to put that on the tree every year, or I would cry, have a big old fit around it. So I have that ornament now, and so a big part of it for me is to put that ornament on my tree, because it kind of is just a reminder of the childhood experiences around Christmas. That and the Misfits, Rudolph.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Any other family traditions? Yes.
The Grinch.
The Grinch,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that was like my dad, and
Okay.
he was always kind of like that, but then his heart always got bigger and bigger and bigger, so there's like even hope for,
Aww.
yeah, so it's always like exciting to get to the end.
Awesome. Yeah.
You know, we put up a tree, and over the years I have made one of my children are grown and I have grandchildren now, but I still have the ornaments that I made with my children when they were little, and we were struggling. I was a single mom, and we would make things, you know, for Christmas, and so putting all those up, and I still have my son's first ornament from kindergarten, and it goes right there in the middle of the tree, and he's always embarrassed every year, you know, when he sees it, but those things are real important. And when they both got married, they got their ornaments that they contributed. We kind of split them 3 ways, so that we all have our family childhood memories of them growing up. We all have a little piece of that. So.
Oh, sweet.
It is sweet.
Yes.
I had great Christmases, but what my ritual was is when they wanted to take the tree out, and they would have it, and I would be holding on to the end, kicking and screaming, and I wanted it back in the house.
Aw, sweet. Any others people would like to share? Yeah.
Well, we had a movie on yesterday, Chronicles of Narnia.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what a good
I
movie.
haven't seen that one yet. I'll have to add that to my
Oh, my God.
playlist. Any others? I remember reading that as a kid, though. Yeah.
Growing up, I mean, there was a time that
when I remember we didn't have anything, like nothing. Like, I remember one Christmas, it was just me, like, no one was there, but it was just still, just something about Christmas. I just remember being by myself and just watching Christmas movies. And I think that's why I love Christmas so much, because it really isn't about what you get or what you receive.
Yeah.
It's just that spirit of the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm the type of person that I'll start planning in January for Christmas. And
Aw.
I was like, you are just nutty. And I'm just like, it's just something about it. Even when we were dirt poor, you didn't have anything. Like, you know, like Winnie, you were saying, you know, you made your own ornaments, or you made do with what you had.
Right.
And I just think that's part of what really, you know, when you find that magic in, you know, or like, you know, you were saying about how your dad was the Grinch and stuff, you know, it's really what you make of Christmas.
Wonderful. So that kind of reminds me of one of the GBT skills that we use, which is called Improve the Moment. And basically it's a meaning-making process. And so one of the things we say to people who are in crisis is, if you can't make it better, don't make it worse, right? And so I think sort of y'all are talking about times where it could have been worse, you know, when you could have been depressed or felt isolated and abandoned. Instead, you like lifted that energy up into kind of an improve the moment. Part of that is using imagery, making meaning, sort of an acronym, prayer, using relaxation, sort of bringing in that kind of self-care strategies. I think it's important to sort of pay it forward this time of year. You know, a lot of it, we're sort of brainwashed to consume, and keep trying to remind myself, like, how much plastic stuff am I buying, and how long is this going to take to decompose, and does she really need another little plastic play set, you know? So I think it's really important, especially in light of like everything that's been happening in Gatlinburg, to make sure that you're, you know, giving. I think that's another, I've been personally using that experience as a way to be thankful when we have this kind of weather. You know, we were all praying for it to rain when the fires were burning, and so now it's raining, and we might be in for kind of a gray, rainy winter, but you know, sort of like in Dakota, the water protectors, and here in Gatlinburg, you know, like rain and water is going to be one of our most precious resources. And so sometimes it does take a bad situation to kind of realize all the beauty that's in the world. And so I think, you know, making a kind of stripped down Christmas, making sure that you give back, sort of making sure that you're doing rituals. One of the new rituals that I want to incorporate this year is to celebrate the solstice. If you read about the solstice, which is coming up just a few days from now, the 21st, I think it's Wednesday. So in kind of contrast of like the lights and kind of overstimulating Christmas, one of the practices you can do is to go without lights and to just light candles and kind of have a sacred quiet moment. And I think that's kind of a nice way to decompress from a little bit of the tension that can be a part of Christmas. So I also brought my sort of holiday survival kit that I wanted to share with you all. Like I said, people not only come to me for therapy, but I wanted to provide sort of like holistic products that could help people get better in addition to other things that they're using. So I've got my little kit here. The first thing is, I'm a little under the weather, so got my Plexus pink drink. Has anyone heard of that? Yeah, so it's sort of a natural, like, energy boosting drink, and it's helped me make the transition off of pounding the coffee, which has been really helpful. And it doesn't give you that crash, and it's kind of a nice uplifter. So, like, before a Christmas party or something like that, this is my new form of liquid courage, so I've been using that. I also like playing with essential oils. I made a spray for today, so if anybody needs some Christmas spirit, I've got some Young Living Christmas spirit in there. I've also got some Thieves, and then I've got, so Thieves is what they used in the plague to kind of ward off all the germs, which is, at least in my house, has been there. We're like constantly diffusing it along with the Christmas spirit, try to get people happy and less grumpy. And then a little lavender just to take the edge off. So you want to avoid your eyes, but you can kind of just use it like a perfume. So I'll just pass that around. If you want to, you can try that. A little sage. I couldn't do without some sage. Maybe could someone light some of this for me? you. Or if you've got one
You're
going.
official with that.
I brought mine from home,
got fire
but
batteries.
that's really helpful if you've been around crowds, if you've been around someone where you felt like you took on their emotions. It also has some antibacterial properties, so can't do it without my sage. These are some beautiful local made candles by my friend. I highly recommend them. The Sacred Geometry is really powerful. She's got ornaments and all kinds of kits out there. I'm going to use one of these for my solstice ritual.
Is that one of Stacy's names?
Yeah, it's Stacy's. So here's my little pink drink packet. I put in my purse, and then a little Christmas spirit. So, I also make Organite, which we have for sale in here. This is really helpful for sort of meditation pieces, for grounding. I tend to pick stones. Thank you.
Fire if you need.
Melena.
Oh, you want,
Oh.
go for it.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So, awesome. Thank you. That was a lot. My husband and I make them, and my daughter helps. She's a little glitter fairy, so she does the glitter mixes. She wanted to be here today. She would probably be running in and out of the frame if she were. I mean, that's about it. The other thing, we were talking about traditions. One of my dear friends who I've lost, I'm honoring her in the tradition of making kisses, tassies. Has anyone tried those? I've got some over there on the table afterwards. They're little peanut butter cookies, and then you put the kisses in there. So, also to get us in the festive spirit, you gotta have chocolate, right?
Absolutely.
But we're gonna do it a little differently. We're gonna do a mindfulness exercise with this chocolate. So I'll pass around one. And just grab one and pass it around. So, who here hits the sugar? The Christmas cookies, the desserts, the chocolate, right? It's sort of hard to avoid in the
Queen Anne's chocolate covered cherries.
Tradition.
Queen Anne.
Chocolate covered cherries.
I always get Charlie's chips, and you know the tins, I can't think. Yeah,
Where can
Charlie's
you
chips.
find Charlie's chips?
I found them
around
at
here?
Kroger's a couple years ago. in
Nowhere
Smith
else.
County.
Yeah,
we're
Fresh
all-
Market has them.
Fresh Market has
Yes.
Charlie's chips?
That's
Oh
a
my
northern, but
God.
yeah, Charlie's.
They used to
northern.
come around in the trucks in Florida.
Yes.
Yes.
But the tin of cookies that you always had to sew in,
Yes,
I can't even think of the,
yes,
it was a
yeah.
blue tin.
They're,
They're like this.
they're Christmas.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
I know
the
what
ones-
you mean,
the-
yeah.
My nan always used to have silver,
Sugar
or not
cookies.
silver, but
Think
sewing
of
stuff in
sugar.
it. And you'd open it up and you're like,
Yeah,
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 it's
yeah,
like
cookies.
cookies.
I can't think of the name, I can't think of the name of
But
it.
it's the blue tin and
Yeah,
stuff,
I
and the
know what you
little,
mean.
like,
And
they're like
little
shortbread
white,
cookies.
they're
with
like
the-
little
we
white
got-
doilies.
We got tools out in the garage in the Charlie's Chips, the yellow can.
Those were my two things.
Yeah, and
My
we
nan
have tools in there, nuts and bolts and stuff like that, but every time I go, oh, Charlie's Chips.
We have two different kinds.
I could eat a whole
Ruffles.
can by myself.
I have a regular kind.
Yesterday.
Yes, yes.
Somebody dropped.
You know,
Extra.
one of the things that we teach is sort of self-soothing. And so like as y'all are talking about the Christmas memories, the scent, that's why essential oils work really good, is they actually like bypass this front of the brain and go straight into this kind of visceral primal thing. And then taste is pretty good for that too, right? And so when we go for the sweets, especially when we're stressed around the holidays, you know, desserts is stress spelled backwards. You haven't heard that. It actually is medicinal. It releases serotonin, and so sometimes we rely a little too heavily on serotonin, on sugar, to produce our serotonin. So instead of eating kisses by the handful, as my daughter was doing, as we were trying to make the cookies earlier, it's like, no, we can't eat all of these. We're gonna eat one mindfully. So what I'd like you to do is just very slowly open up your kiss. Maybe like listen. The foil, hear the crunchiness. You can kind of feel it, at least my hands are warm, so they're already starting to melt a bit. You might want to smell it. When you're ready, you can put it in. You just kind of compare and contrast how you normally eat a kiss. Chomp into it. See if you can just let it kind of melt on its own. See if you can resist kind of.
I might need some more to work through this.
See if you can just let it kind of dissolve on its own. One of the skills we also teach is kind of radical acceptance. So some of y'all might be practicing that in the moment, not to want to just chomp them, but slow things down. Another skill we use is a moment to pause. So life gets really frenetic and busy, and so what we're doing here is sort of a mindful pause to experience the chocolate. One of the things I use for the mindful pause is the trains. You know, most parts of Knoxville you can hear the train from now and then, and so whenever I hear a train, I just kind of take a moment to ground and be sort of positive. One of the cards I keep picking up for people is go outside. You know, it's kind of yucky out right now, but it still is really important to get outside and ground, even when it's cold and rainy. So kind of just let that, notice how your mouth knows what to do, start to salivate, your tongue is warm and kind of moves it around, your teeth know what to do. And let it kind of, you know, coat your throat. And when you're ready, you can kind of surrender and either swallow or just kind of let it dissolve on its own. So can people share some reactions about what it's like to take, I don't know, a minute or two to eat a kiss?
I tasted more of the flavors this time.
What flavors did you
I
taste?
tasted the vanilla more.
Okay,
Where
cool.
it was- yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like chocolate, but this was awesome.
Really? Well, thank you. That's a high compliment. That's cool. And, you know, one really good practice, especially around the holidays, is a mindful eating practice. We had one Thanksgiving where my mom like slaved away on the Thanksgiving dinner. We sat down and we ate in about 15 minutes, and then everyone went to get up. And she was like, and so she recounts that story often to cue us to mindful eating, that, you know, it's not just about wolfing down a meal, it's about talking and being with loved ones, and maybe practicing compassion and radical acceptance of loved ones that get on our nerves, right? Being able to do both. The last sort of piece I want to share with you about, well, I guess there's two. The first one would be non-judgment. You know, like I said, this kind of therapy approach is based off Zen Buddhism. And so sort of like in my mind, the most important session is when people learn that sort of radical acceptance and non-judgment piece. So you don't have to like the situation you're in, but you have to accept it. And if you do want to change it, acceptance is sort of the first step. So when we talk about dialectics kind of being those conflicted or opposite emotions, we have acceptance and change. So this approach, we accept totally people where they're at, but we also encourage them to kind of get where they're wanting to go. And so I recommend that each of you do that for yourself, to kind of just accept where you are and embrace change at the same time. So a lot of times it's easy in this season. I know for me, like, avoid West Hills at all costs, right? I found myself, I took that right turn on there and went, no, what did I do? And next thing I know, that's when I hear, Mommy, that's not a very nice word. And so it's really important in those moments of road rage. That's what does it for me. I don't generally tend to have that, but around the holidays, you know, everyone's trying to get where they're going, and nothing kind of takes you out of the Christmas spirit than driving around in traffic, right? And so that's a time when you want to practice non-judgment towards yourself if you're doing something that maybe is not the greatest, or, you know, to other people in front of you. And so that really is what the Christmas spirit is all about, is, you know, kind of coming together in like one divine family. I want to pull just a couple cards to kind of, yes?
I learned something based on Buddhism, and it's totally changed my driving experience.
Okay,
Because I
tell us.
definitely have an easy middle finger.
And
And what I learned was that when somebody cuts you off or does something that's, you know, scary and everything, and you start to freak out, you leave them with a blessing that they not hurt themselves or anyone else.
Beautiful.
And that takes the rage right away.
right.
It takes some practice though.
And that's it. You know, when someone's struggling, it really is about offering that blessing to them, because we don't know what's going on in their lives or sort of what happened. I don't know if y'all heard about sort of the tragedy that happened over at the Weigels in South Knoxville. That was right down the street from me, and so there was some random violence that happened. It was someone honked a horn, and then someone responded by shooting this person.
And himself.
And then themselves, yeah. It was really tragic. It was the Weigels in South Knoxville.
It's not drawn severe, like when your head towards me.
Mhm.
Is everybody okay?
No.
No.
Someone died.
Two
Yeah.
people died.
Yeah. It was a murder.
This
This is why I don't do news. Yeah, I don't either. Yeah, it was bad.
Well, just to uplift this
Yes,
a little
thank
bit, you know, I just want to say, because that really did hit hard for me, because this was like right down the street, and I'm there often, and I drove by it, and so I think as a light worker, that's the time to, like, you know, sort of help those spirits move on. I did hear that the sort of innocent person who was killed was a lovely human being, like an angel walking this earth, like visiting people in the hospital, and just for someone to die tragically so young, I just want to offer blessings up to him and his family, because it sounds like he was a really beautiful person. And kind of realizing that there, in times where it doesn't make sense, like the fires or different tragedies, you know, like that is the cue for us to like appreciate what we have and be truly grateful, and that we really don't know how much time we have. We don't know, you know, if it's going to be someone's last Christmas or not, and so like really passing some of that Christmas spirit around and being thankful for the moments. So, and I would ask for some prayers around that particular situation. So, do we have a prayer list? Or?
We do. We should do
We're
it
gonna do
At
it
the end?
again.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm almost done. I just want to pull a couple cards. So a couple of thoughts to leave you on. Heart chakra. Love is the heart of the matter. Your heart is the center within your physical being, attuned most to love. It's safe for you to love and be loved with an open heart as you stand by with perfect protection and guidance. I can attract relationships that agree with my desires. People are not finding it difficult to find the mate of their dreams because that person is not out there, but because of their own contradiction to their own desire and the thoughts they offer about the subject every day. When you consistently offer thoughts about your future relationship that feel good while you think them, that means you are consistently matching the desires that you have discovered as you have lived life. Under those conditions, only someone in agreement with your desires could come to you. So I think it's a good time to kind of focus on the positive, ground yourself. When you detach from awareness of your body and the physical world, you become ungrounded. Although it is pleasant to float heavenward, your attention and work are needed on the earth. We're helping you balance the spiritual and material so that you can enjoy a fulfilling earthly life. Dreams. So I guess pay attention to your dreams. Child, guardian angel, so bless little children. I think one more. Inspired action is always pleasurable action. The dominance of your thoughts is what brings everything to you, and it is what is behind the action that you offer. By seeking good-feeling thoughts that align you with Source, your action will then always feel good. You cannot muster enough action to compensate for misaligned thought, but action that is inspired from aligned thought is always pleasurable action. So I want to thank y'all so much for letting me talk up here. And thank you for coming out on a rainy, gray morning. And I really, truly wish each one of you a wonderful Christmas and New Year. Thank you.
Okay, prayer requests.
For Greg, who got his finger caught in a table saw.
God bless him.
Okay,
Sounds like my
George.
husband.
George, thank you.
Allison and Bill and their new baby to come.
Allison, Bill, and their new baby
To come,
to come.
yeah.
The baby that's on the way.
Yes.
My girlfriend Ren,
Ren,
R-E, yeah, W-R-E-N, and Mark.
okay,
Sam.
Sam,
Mike and Alex.
Ray.
Ray.
My youngest son, Jonathan, whose birthday is today,
Oh, okay,
faces abandonment issues and anger.
okay.
Kathy and Philip.
Kathy and Phil,
My mother and Amy.
your mother and Amy,
Victoria.
Victoria. Yeah, she's not feeling well today.
Jim.
Jim?
My father, who I haven't seen in 10 years.
Okay.
Susie,
Is Susie a person or a four-legged?
a person.
Okay.
We always had her.
Okay, all right. Unnamed requests. Four-legged. Two-legged if they're pets.
Rascal.
Rascal, okay.
Four-legged Angus.
Four-legged Angus.
That
Anybody
pig,
else?
that pig that got burned in the fire and put saved himself.
Yeah.
I don't know his name.
He's in the.
He's in a
circus.
parade.
I know.
Okay.
All of the animals that are on the move from the fire, and there's lots of wild animals that are out moving.
Yeah.
Their habitats are gone and their winter plans have been changed.
Yeah, there's some that they were talking about have been moving back. I saw that on,
We have so many that have
Yeah.
come down the mountain, we're just
Yeah.
south, that have just come
Yeah.
down the mountain.
Yeah, the ranger said that, they had, I guess, a couple of, they posted about the bears and stuff, that it's bad, but I guess they're adapting to the situation pretty well, it seems, from what they've watched.
Yeah, we have wolves and coyotes on the move, and the big cats, which the rangers will tell you we do not have.
But we do.
We do
No,
have
we
big
do
cats.
have.
Yeah, they're moving. They're on the move.
any others? Okay. Okay, and as Victoria would say, we send our angels before us in each one of these requests and ask that the Holy One bless, calm, give peace, love, and healing. And so it is.
So it is.
And mine with her bow.
Oh, look what the angels brought me.
They did.
A penny.
Put it in your shoe.
Oh, you put it in your shoe?
Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
And then later she'll go,
Yeah, what is that in my shoe? Okay. I see. Ground yourself first. About you, but it's hard for me to stand here.
Noticing that.
Oh, yeah, I think I need to go sit down. Thank you, namaste.
Yes, thank you.